Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Ruby.
I'm Gwen.
Hey Gwen, how's it been this last week?
Pretty good. You seen anything new?
No, I've been doing fuck all this last week. I've been like I haven't had nothing going on, but I haven't had anything that I get to talk about in the podcast going on, you know? Like, I played some Final Fantasy IV, I guess, but, like, what's there to say? It's Final Fantasy IV.
Okay.
I, did some other shit, but it's, like, I don't know, I talked to people some.
Yeah, so here's what I did this week.
What did you do this week, Gwen?
And I'm debating actually talking about it.
No, you have to. You led into it now. I'm not letting you on this one.
No. I know, I just want to preface this with, like, I debated not talking about it.
Okay.
So I started watching My Dress Up Darling.
Okay, how's that?
I like it.
Alright, that's fine. You know, you seem to be in company with, like, everybody else, really.
Okay.
Like, everybody else on the planet who watches anime.
Right. The thing about it is that, like, you know how there are some shows where there's, like, tits in them?
Yeah, I know the show has tits in it.
Okay. You know how there's, like, a subset of those shows where the tits glisten?
I'm aware of this.
Okay, this is definitely a tits glisten show.
Yeah, I've seen some GIFs. I've seen,
Okay, if you can get past that, the relationship between the two characters is actually really cute.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I was wondering if I wanted to check it out because, like, it's got, like, a pretty impressive production behind it, and then I didn't because I have barely been watching anything this season, but I did watch the, like, Umakoshi design-inspired magical girl, thing they put in that show. And that's enough for me, I think. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
None of the rest of the show looks like that, so why bother?
Yeah, why bother? Well, the relationship between the two characters is, like, actually pretty cute. That's why you bother.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you know.
It's like, you're probably fine, if not better off, not watching it, you know? It's just like, I just wanted to voice that I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you watch, like, a romance show and the romance is cute, and, like, that's what you're there for, and it's like, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Ruby, you know me.
I know you.
I don't usually go for the straight stuff, so, like, pretty high bar.
Your standards are higher than, like, are you saying your standards are higher than mine, or just the average?
I mean, just the average. Do you think your standards are lower than mine?
They might be.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I'm, like, really racking my brain to think if I, like, watched anything this week, and I did watch 3 episodes of Boruto, which is, like, the one show I could watch that I can't talk about here.
Yeah, like, no joke. When we talked to each other about starting this podcast, I stopped watching Boruto for exactly that reason.
I didn't yet. I mean, like, maybe I will for, like, if we get close and we're like, okay, shit, we're gonna cover Boruto. But, like, the thing is that, like, Boruto fits into the slot of my anime watching of, like, here's Naruto and I don't have to think about it as much as I do for the podcast. I just put it on and, you know, sometimes the characters do something that makes me go, well, that's kind of questionable in regards to the political situation in this world, but that's okay. I don't have to think about that or talk about that into a microphone right now.
Yeah, woohoo. If that's all we really have to talk about before we get going, do you want to just get going?
We can get going.
Alright, episode 23, Genin Takedown. All 9 rookies face off. Team 7 arrives at the testing site for the chunin exams, even Sakura, which is good, according to Kakashi, because you can only sign up for the exam as a full team of 3, despite telling them otherwise. The gang is initially put off by all the scary older people here to take the test, but they're soon approached by Ino, and we're introduced to the 6 other rookies, Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, Hinata, Kiba, and Shino. They all stand and bicker for a moment before being approached by Kabuto. He tells them to shut the fuck up, this room is full of enemy ninja and everybody's stressed about the exam. Realizing he's a veteran test taker, the kids ask Kabuto for advice, and he uses this as an excuse to show off his ninja info cards.
Ninja info cards. I was trying to remember how the video goes, but I don't, and that would be, like, embarrassing to just, like, start reciting it into the podcast, so you've been spared.
Thank you. Woohoo!
Woohoo! God, you got through that summary so smoothly. I'm, like, not ready to talk yet.
I know. Color coding, like, the cadence part is, like, really helping me a lot.
I was like, yeah, okay, Gwen's talking about summaries. We've been going. This is gonna go for, like, about a minute. I'm, like, good to just, like, keep sort of standing here, and then you're like, oh wait, that's right. This part ends with ninja info cards, so I have to talk about the anime now. Right, so I do like this moment with Kakashi. Once everybody like shows up at the exam room, Kakashi's there. It's like, hey, congratulations! You know, you all had to do this together to go forward. I didn't tell you that because I didn't want you to like be pressuring each other. But so good work on that. You know, I like that he's trying to create a situation where they're allowed to like each come to their own conclusions about that without needing to like feel pressured about like what the other two people on the team wants. If they ever need to do the tuning exams together again, I mean, that's going to be a bit of a problem, but fortunately they won't ever need to do the tuning exams together again.
Hey, spoilers. Yeah, I also thought that was really cute. I did get big, like, you've solved my secret first test, children, as like a little bit of how he was like presenting that information to them, and I think it was kind of funny. I think the way that Kakashi talks to children is really funny.
Yeah, he's trying. He's not like perfect at it, but he's trying. Yeah, they get into the room. There's all the scary, imposing older kids, and then we sort of get like a proper introduction to the rest of the Rookie Nine here. Like they've been scattered throughout the show because of the way that the show sort of like backfills some of the early appearances from them. But
is this the first time any of them show up in the manga?
This is the first. There is like they're all in it for like a panel earlier, like at the start of this arc, where they're like where it's just cutting to like various like groups of characters we don't know yet. But this is like where we get properly introduced to them and other names and stuff. So yeah, Naruto fucking hates Shikamaru and Choji.
Yeah, he was so mean to them.
He's like, oh, here's these fucking dumbasses. Even I don't have to respect them. I think it's funny that Naruto is like the sort of person who's like, yeah, I get to be dismissive of some people too. Everybody's dismissive of me, so that goes both ways. And then and the other team of the Rookie Nine shows up, which is Kiba, Shino, and Hinata, and he just has no idea what to make of any of them. Where he's just like he's too annoyed by Kiba to realize that they're basically the same guy, and just no idea what Shino's deal is, because Shino's like this weird unapproachable bug kid. And then he looks at Hinata and like, this is like, okay, you know how earlier you're like, hey, do you have lower standards for me? And like, this is the recovering Naruto shipper in me, where I'm like, I look at this bit where Naruto's like, man, Hinata's so weird. I don't know what's up with her. She's always so embarrassed around me. I guess she's shy. I'm like, that's kind of cute.
It's a little bit cute. I like Kiba so much.
Kiba's really fun. I always forget because he's not in anything at all very much. But like every time he shows up, he's just like a fun guy. He loves his dog. He's
Yeah, he has the dog. I will say, I like Kiba a lot less in like Shippuden and beyond, because he's not the kid with the puppy. He's the kid with the dog, and that's just totally different.
Totally different vibe. It really isn't the same when there's like a big dog. I think you're right. You're on something there. Also, it's fucked up that, like, Choji's like, I wonder if that dog would be good to eat.
Really cool way to introduce your fat character, guys.
Yeah, not cool. But, like, it just feels like a level even beyond the thing where he's always eating to be like, wow, I want to eat this guy's, like, beloved friend pet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get the nice little moment, where he's like, he stops somebody from stepping on a bug, because so you learn that he's the bug guy, as opposed to just being the mysterious guy we don't know anything about.
Imagine if the first time we learn that Shino does like bug stuff is in the next episode when he's cheating.
I'm like trying to remember if that's in the either if Shino's bug deal is like still unexplained throughout both of these like both of the manga of these scenes. I didn't actually take a note of this. I'm not gonna like focus in on it, but. Yeah, so the kids are just chatting, and then we meet Kabuto. And Kabuto's like, hey, watch out. There's 3 identical guys who are standing behind you who look really pissed at you. just 3 of the same men.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's how they style their guys over in the Village in the Rain. They make them all the same.
Well, you see, it's he came alone, but wanted to sign up for the tuning exam, so he's just been maintaining water clones this whole time.
He's like, oh shit, I needed a squad for this. And there's like 6 other squads who I guess just didn't tell him until now.
His 2 squad mates are like homesick right now, and he just needs to fill in for this one test.
Do you think his squad mates are going to be like transformed to look like him for the rest of the remainder of the exams, just to
help cover? Yeah.
Yeah, you got to maintain your cover story. That's you're never going to be a chunin without that.
Yeah, I mean at least until it makes sense to go like, haha, we looked different the whole time, right? As long as you like make it a reveal, then like you're good, right?
Mm-hmm. Kabuto is like the new guy in this room who is like signposting to us that he's a character. We don't get a ton of him here, but he's like talking just enough that
Yeah, because he's the only one not dressed in like beige and brown.
Yeah. I like that, like, Naruto instantly feels a sense of camaraderie. Just like, oh shit, this guy fails tests too. We can be bros. You can trust a guy who fails his tests. It's just the real things.
You really can. Look, I know we're kind of beating around the bush here.
What are we beating around the bush about?
There's nothing to talk about in this except for ninja info cards.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? I mean, there's some stuff on the ninja info cards. There's like little bits of like, maybe, well, I guess, what do you have to say about the ninja info cards, Gwen?
Well, I just want to announce that we officially live in a post-Ninja Info Cards world.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, mark that on your calendars.
Why don't more people have these? It seems so convenient.
Well, it requires Kabuto's chakra, so I feel like that's kind of hard to get.
Shit. Okay, presumably people can make ones that like work off their own chakra. I don't know. I realize like how inconvenient this would be to like manufacture at any scale. Everybody just needs to make their own. So actually, maybe Kabuto's just a weirdo for having these.
Yeah, he learned one little trick on how to like encrypt something with your chakra, and he uses it on everything, and now it's a pain in the ass to access any information he has. Because, like, Kabuto, but, like, sometimes you can just write things down.
Because, like, I think the thing that's amazing about this is, like, there's not any information on his ninja info cards that's, like, a big secret, it doesn't seem like. Like, I imagine a lot of these, like, mission records for the various participants in the tuning exams are like, fairly easily accessible, or else he would be showing off, like, a flagrant break of, like, international protocol by being like, yeah, here's how many missions these guys from this other village have been on.
Yeah, or like, if not international protocol, at least protocol within the Hidden Leaf, right? If it's like, yeah, if you do your research, you can figure out the mission histories of like people from like other villages and stuff, but like Hidden Leaf Ninja, don't worry about it, right? Like don't become a vector to leak that information, dickhead.
It's probably just information that doesn't matter that much.
I mean, like, realistically, yeah, but like,
And there's a few little things I want to touch on when he's like talking about his ninja info cards and like talking about the makeup of the test. First of all, I notice the various villages that are participating, and it's like, oh, hey, there's like a few minor characters that I didn't remember came from these villages for like the grass and the waterfall villages, and then there's like, oh, the rain village, which is like a big deal later on. I didn't realize it came up so soon.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, like it is just kind of pretty fun to see all these like little hints of the like little gestures towards the broader world that like will maybe not be paid off in a huge way later, but there's a sense of consistency if you're looking for it in some areas, and that can be fun.
Totally.
And the other thing is he's talking about how he's like, hey, do you know why? Do you know why the chunin exams are like held as a joint thing between villages? They say it's to like maintain like camaraderie and good relationships between the villages, but like between you and me, I think that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, to be fair, it does sound a little bit bullshit.
He's like, yeah, I mean, really, they're just like, these people just kind of like keep sending people to tuning exams to show that they're still making strong ninja, or else like you're gonna look weak, and that can be bad for you. You gotta like make sure everybody knows you got at least a few strong guys who could like fuck up a whole squad.
Yeah,
it's a very important layer of ninja diplomacy to let people in on like some of the guys with cool tricks you got.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how else are we gonna fill out our bingo books?
Fucking.
Sasuke asks Kabuto about Rock Lee and Gaara, and we get to see their stats, mission history, and team composition. Though not a whole lot is known about Gaara, everyone's impressed by the B-rank mission he went on. We learn about the Hidden Sound Village, Kakashi reflects on his behavior back at the nomination meeting, and Sakura is getting worried about Naruto. But it turns out he's shaking from excitement, not nerves, and yells to address the whole room and introduce himself. The sound guys rush the bunch of Leaf rookies, and Kabuto steps between them, narrowly avoiding a punch that somehow shatters his glasses anyway. The scuffle is broken up by the arrival of Ibiki Morino, the proctor for the first exam.
Yeah, so while the first thing I want to talk about while Kabuto is going over information about Rock Lee and Gaara specifically is that in the manga, in the Viz translation of the manga, they have touched up the ninja info cards a little bit. They've added they like for like an English audience, they have in place of like the symbol at the top of the card that like that shows like, oh, if this ninja's from the land of fire, the land of wind, they've created these terrible fucking logos.
Those look bad.
They're not good.
What the fuck is going on with the wind one? Why is the eye like that?
Why is the end like that?
So we should talk about these images a little bit, sort of describe what's going on for the people that like can't see them, or like I mean, if you want to see them, make sure to check out our Twitter at Konoha Crush, where we post all of the images underneath the tweets saying that, like, hey, we have a new episode out. And then beneath that, we'll reply with all the images that we talked about in the episode. But if you don't want to go do that, Ruby, what the fuck is going on with these images?
Okay, so we have the words of fire and wind, and they're, like, fitting inside of a circle, and also all of the, like, the letters are just sort of hugging the exterior of the circle so that they're all, like, curved, and they're also all, like, twisting around each other, and there's all these, like, bizarre little, like, typographical choices, like the R and E in fire, the, like, forward-pointing tail of the R is, like, the middle line of the E, and the I in wind is, it's the only, it's, like, the only lowercase letter in the word, and it's, like, You've got the dot up at the top, and then there's, like, the line down, like, that is, like, intertwining with all of the other letters. It's just, like...
Yeah, okay, specifically, all of the letters in the word wind are all really, like, super curved and wavy, and, like, twisting out from, like, a central point at the bottom of the circle. Except for the I, which is straight as an arrow going straight up through the center of the circle, which looks bad.
It doesn't look good, If you were, if you're just listening to this and you haven't, like, bothered looking at these images and you're like trying to get an idea of what they look like, it probably isn't worse than what we're looking at here.
It's probably not worse.
Yeah, and so I like that. I feel like Kabuto is doing, like, a little bit of, like, preemptive booking here when he's talking about Rock Lee and Gaara, where he's like, yeah, Rock Lee, he's like, he seems pretty normal, he's like, he's been on a pretty solid amount of missions. He's pretty talented. He's got his well-regarded teammates. Meanwhile, Gaara, this scary motherfucker over here, he's been on a B rank mission, which is super weird for again, and he didn't get hurt at all.
Yeah, he did. He came home without getting a fucking single scratch on him. Also, most of his data entries here are question marks because he's so cool and nobody knows anything about him.
Which, this is something I never picked up on before, but I do. There is something that feels like kind of like a transparent setup for, like, oh, these guys are gonna fight later.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope not. I mean, it'd be cool and all, but, then Sasuke won't get to fight him.
I'm sure Sasuke would get to fight one of them, whoever won the fight.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Just, maybe like a tournament or whatever, then...
Yeah, then Sasuke won't get to fight both of them.
I'm sure he'll live. I'm sure it won't have any effects on him. Yeah, and Kabuto is, like, he's talking a little bit about a little more information. He talks about the Sound Village, and he's like, yeah, it's just some small village. I don't really know anything about it. It, like, pisses the Sound Tree off really badly. I also... Which, like, I don't know... So I don't know how much Kabuto actually knows about these guys, and how much he's actually trying... Like, he's actually just being shitty to them. Or if it's just, like, if it's just by accident. Because I feel like, Kabuto is a guy who's in a position to know more about this.
What? No way.
Yeah, like, Kabuto definitely, like, we're... Kabuto is, like, a guy who knows more about the hidden sound that he's letting on here. This is spoilers. But like, I'm wondering if he knows these guys specifically and is like, yeah, I'm just gonna like dunk on him a little bit, or if he's or if he just happened to say some shit to, like, hide the fact that cover up the fact that he knows anything, and it just happens to, like, get these guys really mad. But, like, it really gets under their skin because when Naruto makes an enemy out of everybody in the room, like, the Sound Trio still seem like they're mostly pissed about Kabuto.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else is like, what the fuck is up with this kid? Why is he yelling about how he's gonna beat all of us? There's this line where Ninja's like, hey, Rock Lee, maybe you should have bullied him more. Which is really funny. But the Sound Trio are just like, I can't fucking believe this guy said our village was tiny and bullshit. We'll fucking show him. I really feel, I feel like, I needed to, like, come up to them and say something like, hey, you guys, this isn't how you do it. You're really setting yourself up to be, like, chumped out midway through the arc. You can't rise to every provocation like that. So you can't be the cool, mysterious guys if you're just gonna, like, start a fight in the exam room. It's not gonna go well for you, but they really just fucking go for it.
They, like, that stupid idiot motherfucker reveals his whole thing before it's even, like, an opportunity to take anybody out.
Everybody in the room is seeing this. Every fucking person who's, like... Every person who's taking this test now knows your deal. You fucked up.
Fucked up really bad.
Like, maybe they don't know exactly what your deal is, but they're like, okay, he's got some shit. And, like, maybe I can make some inferences. Maybe I can, like...
Yeah, I mean, they probably don't fucking, like, know for sure how it works or whatever, but, like, everybody in the room can see, like, oh yeah, that kid can hit you with something even if he misses the punch. I'll keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. But it's also just like, I mean, like, you're really, like, you maybe had an opportunity to be, like, some secret antagonist here. I mean, you didn't, because that's not how stories work. But, like, they really just fucking, they really fucking set themselves up to be the chumps here. I do want to post this, this panel from the like this bit of a panel from the manga where like the sound tree have like rushed up to like stand there all ominously after Dosu like hurts Kabuto, because we have this image of Zaku who's like standing there looking all smug and like he's got this menacing aura drawn around him. Then also we have the translator's note that Poisu was just like, oh, and by the way, his shirt says death on it, which was really fucking funny to me.
Oh, speaking of these guys, I have a question.
What's that?
Cow print or two-tone camo?
Let me get a look at
because I feel like it's supposed to be like a two-tone camo thing, but it looks an awful lot like cow print.
You know, maybe it's just like a stylistic choice. They like cows. Or the cow team.
Alright, okay, yeah. Love cows. What's the name of the mummy gentleman? The bandaged one? Dosu?
Yeah.
I don't like the way he's looking at me in this panel.
It's fine. He's trying to intimidate you. Are you intimidated?
Oddly enough, I'm more intimidated now that I've, like, interpreted it as, like, cow print, that he's a big fan of cows.
Like, he's not hiding. He just wants you to know. He thinks cows are cool, and he's gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, now that I've, like, added those things together in my head, like, now it's a little bit intimidating, yeah. Maybe they were right to go with cow print.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing, right? We don't know shit about the Sound Village, and so we're, like, really caught off guard by their techniques and their style. Maybe we were wrong to discount them. Maybe they're really like winning me over here.
Yeah, I need to stop looking at this picture.
Okay. Yeah, I don't actually have a ton more to say about this episode. You know, Ibiki shows up.
Yeah, Ibiki shows up. We'll get more stuff on him later.
Mm-hmm.
You ready to just go ahead and move on?
Yeah.
Episode 24. Start your engines. The chunin exam begins. It's a written test and Naruto is concerned. Ibiki lays out the rules that basically amount to don't get caught cheating, and if anybody in your team gets a 0, you will all fail. So Sakura is real worried about Naruto. Sakura is also the only one in Team 7 that has any real idea how to solve any of the problems on the test. Sasuke figures that more so about knowing the material, this test is about gathering information covertly.
Yeah, I was like pretty excited to talk about this episode because in my mind it's like kind of one of the classic episodes of Naruto, and like not necessarily because of any production stuff. Like it's a very like standard kind of unremarkable episode. You can kind of see the seams of it if you look too hard. There's all sorts of scenes where like you can see that Ibiki's scar is like overlaid over his face as a single thing and like doesn't move at all when he's talking, even though it like goes over his mouth. It's not like the most impressive thing in the world, but also I've talked to so many people who only sort of know Naruto and also remember this specific episode very clearly.
Yeah, this is also one of the ones that I remembered very clearly.
Like, I feel like it's really all on the strength of its setup.
It's just cool.
It's just cool. Like, it is just cool. Before we get into like the test 2 specifically, I'll talk about the bit at the start where Ibiku shows up. He's like, "Hey, don't hurt anybody here in this exam room, and like even at the parts of the exam where you get to fight, don't kill anybody." And Dosu's just like, "Oh, I see. This is a test for fucking babies, then." It might be Zaku who says that. I don't remember. I don't need to remember which of them says which thing, but
no, just one of the fucking jobbers.
Yeah, they're just like, fine. I guess this is a test for fucking idiots who don't kill. But also, this test could be so easy for me because I don't kill every day of my life. So this is just another day not killing.
Don't kill, easy, done.
Done. I was about to kill a little bit easier. I'm about to not kill even easier. It's kind of amazing how they're just fucking like they're just punks. They're just starting shit.
Don't kill, haha, easy. What would be hard is if you made me kill everybody.
But also, I do it.
Yeah, but I do it.
But yeah, so the test. So again, like it's just like a really strong setup, right? Like the way it works is like I feel like if you're paying attention, you're watching this when you're a kid, it shows up on TV. It's like you can start to like piece together what's going on with it as the characters do, you know? Like you can start to realize like, oh wait, yeah, these rules don't make much sense unless you had to cheat, and it like immediately provides a lot of opportunities for characters to use their powers in interesting ways. Like it gives a bunch of characters the opportunity to like show off what their deal is for the first time outside of a combat setting.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's just like an excellent like way to like showcase for a bunch of character little moments that you can just like cram together very neatly and without it feeling like particularly like rushed or forced. And like I think this episode of the anime has a bunch of like smart little decisions about like reordering it and like tightening it up, adding a few extra details, giving a few characters a bit of an extra like moment to show off. I think it is like it is just some strong material presented concisely, and that is enough to really like elevate this episode to a level that like really stands out in people's mind, even if it's not the flashiest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's really neat. We'll get into more specifics a little bit later once we get into the part of the test where everyone's actually doing the cheating.
So before then, though, Sakura can just solve this shit.
Sakura just knows how to answer the questions.
Yeah, Sakura is like a fucking genius, I guess, because like, I mean, we kind of to Sasuke, who everybody's like, yeah, here's like the cool, smart, tough kid in our graduating class. Is like, I can't answer a single one of these, man. But Sakura's like, yeah, okay, I just gotta buckle down, I gotta do it. And like,
she's even like, oh man, I bet nobody else except for me knows how to answer these.
Right. It's so frustrating, right? Because like the start of this arc is her being like, oh, I can't measure up to everybody else. I can't fight like they can. And then she like comes into this test and she can just she can just do all this shit that nobody else can. Like a lot of this, like we don't get to see what all the questions are, but the ones we do get are like, hey, crack this code, or like, hey, given this like bit of information, like write up an analysis of what you can assume about the range of an enemy's attacks. And it's like, this seems like very practical stuff to know. This seems like it would be like a cool thing to base a character on, you know, maybe like this would still be a sort of sidelining, but it could be really fun if she sort of grew from this and you know, became a person who could offer a lot of like analytical support and like strategical support, who could use her apparent like extreme wealth of knowledge and ability to apply that to solve problems in interesting ways. It feels like there's just such a slam dunk for what you could do with this character when you're setting her up to be like, oh, I don't know how to fight, but she knows how to do this other shit, but it never comes up.
But it never fucking comes up.
It's so frustrating.
It's really frustrating. It's just, do you ever just look at a man and say, I wish you knew how to write women?
I wish you cared at all about writing women.
I wish you cared at all about fucking anything.
I wish the editors at the magazine you worked for were like, hey, maybe you should put a girl who does anything in this.
Yeah.
Because it is not like, oh, here's like a character who has to approach situations strategically and not with like cool combat tricks. Would go over poorly with the Naruto audience. There's a character who does that and he's very popular.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to just like move on to the next segment?
Yeah, sure.
We see everyone using their own little techniques to cheat, and Hinata offers to show Naruto her answers. When he leans over for a peek, a kunai flies past his head, pinning another student's paper to the table. The sentinel who threw it lets him know that he's been caught cheating 5 times. His team is disqualified. More and more people get eliminated, and Naruto resolves himself not to cheat. We see more people cheat, and Hibiki notes how calm and collected Gaara is being. Then, Kankuro heads to the restroom with his puppet.
Yeah, I think one of the smartest things that this episode does when it's like reordering the material to make it like all fit into the episode a little better is it makes it so that in the manga, like Hinata offering to help Naruto cheat is like a separate beat from the guy like getting disqualified by having like a kunai thrown on his paper, and I think it just like it makes it makes both of those moments feel very much more immediate when like they connect to each other so directly and happen in the middle of each other. Like when Naruto is like considering if he should cheat, if he like immediately sees the threat and then like has to consider if he wants to like run the risk of like both him and Hinata like suffering consequences from that. I think it like makes it flow much better.
Yeah.
And also,
yeah,
everybody's fucking cheating on this test and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like, it's really the sort of thing where you can immediately say like, oh damn, some people just have this way fucking easier than others. Like, if you can speak dog, nobody can prove that your dog is telling you the answers because they can't speak dog.
It's so funny that Kiba's cheating by his dog Akamaru just sitting on his head looking at another test and just making dog sounds at him that are the answers.
It's like, sorry, examiner, can you prove that my dog can read? I don't think you can do that.
Actually, one of these sentinels is from your clan, and he was assigned to specifically keep an eye on you to make sure that Akamaru didn't tell you the answers. Haha, you lose.
Well, clearly that doesn't happen, because he gets through fucking scot-free.
Yeah, I think actually that's probably like outside the spirit of the sentinel's job. I think I think the sentinels are allowed to give judgment on what they count as cheating and not. Like if they catch something but they're like, haha, actually that's pretty slick, I'm gonna let that slide. I think they're
or like, you know, if they, you know, if you catch something like once, or it's like, you know, in a way where it's like, yeah, you know, if that happens one time I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it, so I mean that's the rules, right? So I don't know why I said that. What was I actually trying to say? It's definitely like, yeah, there's like, if you like see something that's like, that's kind of suspicious, but I don't know exactly what's happening, and you know, I can't prove anything's happening, so that's good enough. That's a passing grade.
Yeah, I say this because, how do I want to say this?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's really easy to notice a series of mirrors strung up from the ceiling.
Yeah, but do you know whose mirrors those are?
I suppose.
Right, like, you know, if those threads are like hard enough to see, and those mirrors are like angling in a way you can't quite like calculate, you know, that's I mean, other people, like, you don't know who could be cheating about that, and you can't just be like dinging people left and right for that. So you just kind of got to go, okay, sure, that's good enough. Similar people got it pretty easy. Shino, who can just have a bug tell him shit.
Yeah, I feel like a bug is way more covert than a dog.
Everybody who's got eyes, like, just let them see shit. Like Sasuke fucking got it. Neji and Hinata, they fucking got it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was being pretty harsh on the sound trio, but apparently they could just like discern what's being written by like hearing the like pencil strokes. That's pretty fucking sick.
Mm-hmm. That's how they heard Kabuto talking about them.
And not just like they didn't even hear him specifically say anything. They were reacting to the thing you said. They heard him like applying his chakra to those cards earlier when he was making them, and they're like, "Oh, this motherfucker! He wrote that we're chumps on there. He didn't even show off our cards, but he wrote that we were chumps."
I have a question.
What's your question?
When did Tenten set up the mirrors?
I don't know. Do you think she like knows that there's often a written test at the start? It's like, yeah, if they put you in a room, that's probably a written test. So like maybe set some shit up, or do you think there's that like I don't know when exactly she got that set up. I'm not like too worried about it, but
because they also had random seating.
Mm-hmm. Do you think she got like a mirror array that you could attach to a light fixture, like sealed away, and she just launches it up sneakily at some point? Like, what's Yeah,
she just waits for everybody in the room to blink at the same time, and then
Tenten could be capable of anything. We just don't know.
I just don't know. I also had a question for you that I think would be kind of like a fun thought experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Given Naruto's skill set right now, how do you think he would be able to cheat effectively? Because I have an idea.
I had a few ideas also. Give me your idea. I was also thinking about this, so...
Okay. What he does is he gets... Because the room has, like, big windows on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets, like, 5 shadow clones to go outside with, like, binoculars and stuff to, like, read other people's tests.
Yeah.
And then once a shadow clone has, like, memorized a couple answers, poofs himself, main Naruto gains that information and can write down the answers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my ideas were kind of along the same route. Like, you kind of have to go with shadow clones because this Naruto was one trick. I think there's various options you have. However, there is a problem with that, which is that Naruto does not learn that he gains the information a shadow clone knows for 2 years.
Right.
He doesn't learn that until 2 years later. He just never thinks about it. It's clearly happening, but he's just like, yeah, that's normal. I don't really think there's any applications of this. So he wouldn't have done that. But I do think there's all sorts of shadow clone tricks, you know?
Yeah, he could go to the bathroom twice.
Wait, no, hold on. What do you mean by that?
Okay, he goes to the bathroom.
Okay.
Makes a shadow clone, slips away, goes outside, binoculars.
Okay.
Main Naruto now, with the shadow clone inside, pretending to like, ooh, I'm taking the test,
Oh, yeah, you know, it's like just like a much more like inconvenient way of doing that. That could be pretty smart.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, no, my tummy is really acting up. Can I go to the bathroom again?
Yeah, like that could be helpful. See, that would have been helpful for Kankuro, because he doesn't know what happens when somebody has to go to the bathroom. He's just guessing.
Mm-hmm. Really funny. If Kankuro's like, can I go to the bathroom? It's like, you're in here for an hour, hold it. Because
I mean, like, presumably, when you're like the proctor, you're just like, all right, let's see where this is going. Actually, I also wanted to talk about Kankuro. I want to talk about, like, hey, how many points would we be docking Kankuro if we're the examiners here? Because it's gonna be some.
Yeah.
Because, realistically speaking, he's like, they don't know that I snuck a guy into the examiners. They probably know.
They definitely know. They've definitely docked points for that.
Like, they don't know whose that is, you know, if that's just sitting there and it's, like, remotely feeding the answers to somebody somehow, then sure. But if you get up and you like go out of the room with it, then like, everybody knows at that point. You're getting docked 2 points for that at least.
I would even justify 4 points just for like Yeah, okay, obviously there's a puppet there. That's a floating...
That is 2 points if we find out who did that before.
Yeah.
Before the test is resolved. And then another 2 points if you make it really obvious.
Yeah, if you're like, can I go pee? And then the puppet is immediately like, yeah, I'll take you.
And then like another 2 like this is getting to the next episode a little bit, but then another 2 points out of spite when he shows up like just like barely in time for the last question. Like it's not gonna matter by that point, but like
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, because like they don't actually grade the tests.
Mm-hmm. I also like just sort of going through the broader discussion of like cheating techniques. I like that Gaara's just making like weird sand eyes that he can see out of. That's fucking sick.
That's cool as hell.
I also like Ibiki looking at him like, that kid's just like sitting there. He's like not flinching at all. He's up to some shit. I don't know what it is, but I bet it's pretty cool.
I feel like Gaara should have cheated for his team. I feel like Gaara could have fed him the answers via like sand on paper.
Yeah, like sand on paper, or like maybe he's sent an eye over to their tests, and he's like looking down, and he's like using the sand to move their pen while it's in their hand, and it's. I mean, that's really overcomplicating things. Actually, now that I think about it.
But I feel like I want to say that like Gaara was ready to do that, and then Kankuro was like, no.
Nah, man. Check this out. These guys are fucking idiots. They're not gonna know if my puppet's in here. Gaara's like, I don't know, man. They might know. He's like, nah, man. Don't worry about it. Has your big brother ever let you down? He's like, sometimes.
Yeah, he has.
Well, like, I guess, doubling it back a bit. So I've been trying to pay attention because the arc starts off with like so much attention drawn to like, oh, Team 7 has bad teamwork. Is this going to come up in the arc? And it sort of does here, because while you see lots of other people like doing stuff to get the answers to their team, you know, like there's 10-10 with the mirrors giving the answers to Rock Lee, you know, is like using her mind transfer to like get the answers to her teammates. And Sasuke and Sakura are just like, damn, hope he figures it out. I'm going to do my shit though. Leaving the kid out to dry.
Oh my god. Because, like, I do have a question. Like, say somebody gives you the information for, like, a full completed test. Mm-hmm. Is that considered one instance of cheating?
Like, I guess if, like, you see information being passed hands once, and then they just write all the answers down, I think that's just one instance of cheating, right?
Yeah, right. So whoever got eliminated for cheating is a fucking dumbass.
I mean, presumably, like, a lot of people are needing to gather the answers piecemeally, right? Like, you know, maybe they're like, or, you know, they're like getting caught while they're trying to find the people who have the answers. I feel like there's reasons that, that you might get expelled, like, even if you have like a good cheating, or you might get failed even if you have a good cheating plan. That could be as simple as like, oh, I can't remember all of the answers to this test all at once.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's fine. But, like, my thing is, okay, let's say you have someone in your team, like a Sasuke or like a Sakura, who just get all the answers right anyway. Mm-hmm. If they write it all down, mm-hmm. ball up a piece of paper, throw it at the back of Naruto's head, and Naruto picks it up, that's one instance of cheating, you're fine.
Well, okay, hold on. I feel like if he gets a piece of paper thrown to him, and he has pulled that piece of paper out, and he is reading it obviously, and copying answers, that is a lot of instances of cheating.
I'm just saying, like, what do you count?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know exactly what they would have done, but they don't even think about it. Like, neither of them even have any thought of them, like, oh, I hope Naruto figures out that he needs to cheat. Oh, I hope Naruto doesn't cheat too obviously. Not my business.
God. But, like, it is their business because they failed too. God, okay. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I think I'm good to move on.
Episode 25. The 10th question. All or nothing. Ibiki introduces the rules for the 10th question when Kankuro returns. And we learn from Asuma, Kakashi, and Kurenai that Ibiki is the Hidden Leaf's big psychological torture guy. Ibiki tells the class that anyone who fails the 10th question will be eliminated and banned from taking the chunin exam ever again. And if anybody wants to back out, now's their chance. People start dropping out, and Sakura wants Naruto to as well, but if Naruto's too proud to give up, she'll do it for him. She begins to lift her hand when Naruto shoots up.
I think the 10th question as like a little challenge setup is like a little less tight, a little less clever than the previous one. It serves the narrative function of allowing Naruto to get through, mm-hmm. but like I think I'm going to acknowledge that like it serves its role, but I do think it's a little clumsier, and I think that, you know, like it doesn't offer as much for like, I mean, like it just has less to offer for like the scene. than the rest of the test does, because like it's like a pretty like tightly constructed, like, yeah, okay, here's the metaphor, you know, you're really having to put it on the line if you're going on like a real dangerous mission, and you know, you gotta be able to like be willing to risk yourself and also trust your teammates or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is fine, but it's definitely like, I mean, like it doesn't really get the it doesn't really get the thoughts rolling the same way the previous part of the test does.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of just have less to say about it than I did the previous episode.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something about, like, Kakashi's little hangout?
Yeah, sure.
Kurenai is so pretty. I love Kurenai so much.
You know, she doesn't have, like, a special eye jutsu. Her eyes are just like that.
I know.
Okay, you also know this.
I've always...
that's pretty cool.
I've always really liked her. Ever since I saw this show as a child, I was just like, oh no.
That's respectable, I think.
Yeah. Also, a thing about Kurenai that I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we really got any of it in this scene, but like her whole deal about being like big, like tactical thinker, like genjutsu lady.
Mm-hmm.
Evil. I think it's evil and malicious that Kakashi doesn't introduce Sakura to her.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, you guys got like kind of a similar thing going on. You should...
Yeah, like we need to make the teams perfectly balanced between the worst student in the class and the coolest student in the class and the one with best grades in the class, with no regards for what would be best for the development. So Sakura is with some guy who's like just poorly suited to what she needs, even though there is evidently somebody who's just good for it.
I'm so bitter.
I hadn't really thought about that before, but yeah, I can see how...
Like, I understand that that's, like, an unrealistic thing to be able to sort every single child to, like, to a jonin that is, like, fit to train them necessarily, but, like... Mm-hmm. Still,
they could at least like, you know, Kakashi could at least open communications there,
right? Like, I feel like I know I said it before, but I feel like that is like part of the like jonin's like implied responsibility is like networking and connecting children with like mentor figures that like fit their strengths in a way that like, you know, a young shinobi going about their own way like wouldn't necessarily have access to. Like, I feel like that is like a much stronger like setup for the situation with the like, you know, jonin leader guys, right? Like, mm-hmm. that feels like the cool and obvious thing for them to be doing. Yeah, for sure. Ultimately, it doesn't come down to like, oh, I can't believe Kakashi isn't doing his job well. It's like, oh, I can't believe Masashi Kishimoto didn't think about anything for Sakura to do ever. Yeah. Another thing, I was like kind of like stretching for stuff to like think of to talk about here that I latched onto, and this is also just sort of my grim impulse, is that one of the teams that like leaves during this 10th question, you learn that two names are Genai and Inaho, and I was like, oh, I wonder if these characters ever show up again, and I checked and they do. So now I'm on the watch for like, are there any Naruto characters who like show up and get mentioned once and that's just it for them? Are we ever gonna find those guys? Oh my god. I'll probably forget that I'm doing this at some point rather than like carrying it through the whole podcast, but that's what I'm thinking about right now. Okay. I hope you keep up with it. I hope we find out. Okay. We need to find like the most rando. we need to find the most rando named character. Yeah. God. Okay. I'm thinking about it too, so like I'll try and pick up some of it too. Like, I don't think these characters come back in like a big way. They're like in like anime original arc in Shippuden, but yeah, right. Like, but you know, they come back just like Zori and Uraji. Yeah. So we need to find the guys that nobody brought back. Yeah, we need to find the guys that nobody brought back. Because like you know when they're doing like the anime only stuff, they're like scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like, all right, what's a name that's been said once? Where's a big list of guys that like aren't up to anything right now, so we can just kind of. Yeah, we need to find the one that just like everybody missed, and then he's the fucking main villain of a fucking Boruto movie. All right, there's only one Boruto movie. I know they're not gonna do anything but like a fucking guy from space for that. Yeah, I mean, like so far, maybe he was secretly a guy from space the whole time. Shit. Right? You know, and then it ties back and they're like, oh, this shit's like deeper than we thought. This is going back all the way back then. Also, please nobody get right in to correct me about how much the Otsuzukis are guys from space. I'm being flippant. I don't want anybody to try and correct me about my Naruto lore. If you become a Jonin on our Patreon, you can tell me I'm wrong about Naruto. Yeah. If I'm wrong about Naruto staff, you can tell me anytime. I want to be certain about that. I want to be like, you know, if I said something wrong, I want an opportunity to correct myself on that. But about Naruto lore, fuck off unless you're paying us. Yeah. I mean, not actually. You know, if I'm saying something that's like blatantly wrong or like bringing me to some really like off-base conclusions, like sure, talk to me about that. But like if I jokingly call say somebody's a guy from space and that's like not technically true,
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Everybody knows you're cool and smart already. Naruto slams his hand back on the table and declares that he's not giving up, and that his goal is to become the Hokage. This act inspires the rest of the test takers to remain. Ibiki declares everyone still seated has passed the first exam. Ibiki explains the purpose of the test and the importance of proper information gathering while showing off his tortured head. Anko, the next proctor, flies in through the window and pins a big sign to the floor and ceiling in front of a frustrated Ibiki. Shocked at the number of students left, she declares that more than half will be eliminated in her test. Later, Ibiki is collecting the written test and has a chuckle about passing Naruto, who left his whole fucking paper blank.
Yeah, so something that comes up when like Sakura is worrying about Naruto, and then also when Naruto is like doing his whole thing where he's like yelling at Ibiki. He's like, "No, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna do this test. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take this question head on. I don't care if I become a Genin for the rest of my life. I'll become Hokage anyway." I think it's very funny that that's true, not for this reason, but like. Naruto is a Genin for his entire life until he is the president.
It's really good.
And I think this is like a very fun, like, I'm not going to like pretend this is planned, but I do think it's like a very funny thing to have like be something that carries through and winds up becoming true. Like even if it was like Masashi Kishimoto going like, "Oh, this is going to be the case," I think it is. I think it's fun. It's like, it's very cute to like follow through on this.
Yeah, because like after the chunin exams, Naruto just gets into like, okay, like serious shit's going on, so they never go back and like take tests. So yeah, though I bet there is. I wonder if there's any precedent to like making somebody like a jonin before.
I wonder. I feel like you got to pass the like. If you got to follow the protocols here, right? Like even if those promotions like wind up happening really fast.
Yeah. Okay, it's like, yeah, we'll give you like a burner squad. Because both of your squad mates, like, you know, are off doing their own things now because you're, like, actually really capable ninja who are capable of, like, going and doing things alone. Or do you just get to that point and you're just, like, totally outside of the rank structure in a way that, like, you're getting still, like, it doesn't matter?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd also, like, I don't remember how, like, jonin production works. I don't think there's, like, a test for that. I don't actually know. I could be wrong there.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure it's just like if you're a chunin and you're like especially tough and cool, they're just like, all right, promoted. You're a jonin now.
Okay, yeah, because if you've got like a genin running around and you're like, oh, I bet that guy can become a jonin, you probably just let him take the chunin exams and you probably let him through. Like even if you're sort of like angling to let him become a chunin after that, he probably earns it if he's got like jonin qualifications. So
yeah, you know, and also like chunin and jonin qualifications are more than like how cool and tough you are in a fight, right? And I don't think Naruto ever quite gets past the cool and tough in a fight.
I think that's kind of like, I think that's a little reductive of our good friend Naruto and all he achieves. Are you saying that like grown adult Naruto?
Okay, grown adult Naruto. Like, okay, like Naruto as Hokage, like, okay, I think
like a 30-year-old Naruto failing the chunin exams again.
No, I think Naruto definitely could pass the chunin exams. I don't think he would be like an appropriate choice to become a jonin until like the show is over.
Okay.
Even though he's like the coolest, most strongest guy, right?
I guess I can go along with that, right? Because there's all sorts of shit he doesn't really know because he's just in the position of being a guy who's going into fights.
Yeah.
But I do like that Naruto is just like he just starts yelling at Ibiki here. He's just like he has taken the phrasing of the question very personally and is going to refute it on very personal terms. And there's no rule that says he can't do that, I guess. Like he's not getting docked. This isn't cheating. So like go for it, I guess.
Yeah.
And like it definitely is like, yeah, here's Naruto's big win. He can't like answer the questions, but like you get this sweet scene. Everybody just kind of be like, yeah, sure. Well, I'm not gonna back out after that. Like it's you know, if you're gonna set up like, oh yeah, maybe this kind of dumb kid could be a great leader one day, then you know you have him inspire a classroom full of various weirdos. I like that after he does this big speech, it's just sort of like cutting around to various people, and you get like shots of both like significant characters and also complete randos who are like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
And Ibika's just like, yeah, okay. Well, I guess nobody's backing out for that, so congratulations, everybody. I was gonna like try and keep freaking you out for a while, but
yeah, I mean, we still got like 5 minutes left, but you're all sitting pretty steady.
I guess I could just give you like a speech. I could explain what this test was about. Like, you probably figured it out if you're still here, but I can show you my fucked up scars. we were circling back around to what we talked about in like the second episode of this podcast about how scary car crash videos are like an important tenet of ninja education.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you can just be like, here's how fucked up my head is. It's got like drill holes in it and shit.
He has the most tortured head.
It's the most tortured head. There's a bit in the manga that I'm really sad got cut for time here, where Dosu is looking at him and he's like, cool. But his heads are even more fucked up. Never gonna happen to me though.
God.
Just amazing. Just an incredible beat for this pathetic sicko kid who doesn't matter. You just think it's awesome that he saw this guy's fucked up head.
Can we talk about Anko?
Oh, I would love to talk about Anko. What do you have to say about Anko?
So, like, are her tits just out?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Right, because, like, we decided, episode 1, that, like, you could see Shikamaru's, like, belly button through the ninja mesh.
Yeah.
And, like, you can see through the ninja mesh, like, definition on her body that, like, would not be there if it was an opaque fabric.
Yeah, so maybe her tits are just out, you know? Who knows?
Okay.
It's fine. The age rating of Naruto will prevent us from ever knowing for certain. I know you talked about Kura and I being a character that when you were younger watching the show, you're like, oh wow, she's pretty. Me, when I was watching the show when I was younger, this is like probably a pretty basic choice, but it kind of go like, wow, Anko. She.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of have, like, a weakness for when a character is, like, a rowdy dumbass. Like, I like the shonen protagonist type. What can I say? And she's just kind of got that energy, and it's fun when a girl has that energy.
So you like it, huh?
I mean, yeah, what are you getting at here?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna be like that, you could have told me sooner.
Anyway...
you don't even have to drop it on me in the middle of a fucking podcast, Ruby. Fucking inconsiderate.
Oh my god. My train of thought has been derailed here.
Yes.
I like that. I like that when Anko bursts through the wall, she has like a big banner with her name on it behind her.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's like, here's why I'm cool as fuck. I'm gonna, like, half you kids are gonna get fucked up. I'm taking you to the forest of death. Watch out. She's great. She's just really fun. I think there's like actually a little bit, there's like going to be more to her later in this arc that I'm like pretty interested in talking about because I found it really compelling the last time I was here, even if it's not something that gets expanded on a bunch. So I'm excited to talk more about Anko.
Awesome. Me too. Is that all you wanted to talk about?
I think that's about it. I guess there's like when Ibiki is like explaining the test, it just kind of like from there it goes on to being like a feel good speech about being ready to die for your country, which is like, I mean, like it's kind of a weird vibe, but I guess that's what you get in child soldier school.
Yeah.
He's like, look, guys, you might die out there, but if you think about it, isn't it awesome that you're willing to?
No, I don't think so.
But it's so convenient for them to think so.
I mean, I guess.
Maybe that's the other, like, the other upside to having, like, the psychological, like, torture and manipulation guy being your test is that he can get kids really pumped up in a way that'll fuck them up good.
Yeah, he's gonna make those kids good and disposable.
Oh, boy. It's not wrong.
Okay, Rivi, what are we watching next week?
Okay, so, because episode 26 is, like, largely just like a kind of like a recap sort of thing, we will be watching that and also the 3 episodes after it. And then we should be good to watch just 3 episodes every week for the rest of the arc from there. But next week we are watching episodes 26 through 29 of Naruto.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody. Real quick, I just want to shout out our Patreon. That is patreon.com/Konoha Crush, all one word. Helping us pay for podcast hosting would like be really appreciated. And you get some nice little bonuses. So, you know, win-win. Thanks for hanging out later, and, you know, remember, there's no such thing as filler.